That's why that story that you can't win anything with
I could
kids
tell Staffy's
doesn't get
sick and
repeated all the
tired of
time.
conversations with certain United fans. Man said, if you think anyone's gonna be the class of '92 again, you just have to give it up. Just like
You just
give
gotta
up.
give it up, bro.
Not
Wallahi,
gonna
that's all
happen
you have
again.
to do. It's just like, bro, because I love that story. It's one of the reasons I became a United fan. When I chose to be a United fan one day, and I saw that team, and that team really chose me. I didn't choose it, and I wanted to learn everything about that team. And I used to go on the website and read about them. Back in the day, things weren't accessible on the internet like that, anyways. So when I start reading about that team, one of the things that stood out like a sword was the class of 1992. You know why it stood out? Because it's an anomaly. Same thing as the Barcelona academy. There was that one game that they played during the Messi era. I forgot what year it
That's what made
was.
you a big club anyway. That's that. That's it.
I wouldn't say it made us a big club, but that was one of the like every club has a story. Something unique about the
can I
club.
just
That
add
was
to that
one of
very
the unique things.
yeah, can I just add to that very quickly, Staffy? The class of '92 is an anomaly and very special, and it did help project us to another
Yeah.
level. But the reason that it did is because it did mimic what happened in the '50s with the Busby Babes at Manchester United. Of course, they were tragically killed in the Munich air disaster, and that was a young group of players that we had cultivated from Manchester and some other parts of the country, like Sir Bobby Charlton from the northeast, and the great Duncan Edwards, who came from the Midlands. And we built this young team that a lot of them came through our academy. And listen, I still stand by this statement. They would have gone on to win multiple Champions Leagues. Man United's European history would have looked very different if it hadn't been for the horrible air disaster. And I think the class of '92, it resonated so highly because it was almost felt like history repeating itself in that regard. But it is rare to get that many at the same time. And Sir Alex wasn't able to replicate it. And he brought a lot of young players through with Wes Brown and O'Shea, Danny Welbeck and loads of Darren Gibson, loads of players. And we never were able to recreate it again. And we've had some good academy players in the last 10 years. And I don't want to see them sold per se, but they still have to be good enough and they still have to be able to deliver for us. Fergie sold and got rid of and released hundreds, maybe even thousands of academy players in his time at the club because they weren't good enough or right for Man United. And every now and then there was a mistake. Every now and then, I should have kept him a bit longer. But 9 times out of 10, the club made the right decision. And I'm confident we'll do that again.
But that's the issue, Terry. When you hold on to academy players for too long, you end up with a lot of examples like Rashford, like McTominay, like Lingard. Rashford is probably the most successful out of them and the most talented. But you look at him. We ended up making him the highest paid player in the club. We gave him the number 10. We put him on a pedestal that he eventually couldn't live up to. And I feel like that was one of the reasons for his downfall. Lingard, same thing. He used to be 27 and people still thought he was a young upcoming player. And we'd be like, United fans had to correct rivals all the time to remind him of his age. Maybe he looked a little bit younger than he did. He was 27. People thought he was a younger upcoming academy product. And he wasn't. He was 25, 26, 27 when people were saying that. Same as McTominay. The reason people still talked about McTominay last year being one of our best players is because he overstayed his welcome. If he would have been sold after his first good season, second good season at United, you cashed in and you want to use that money and you brought someone who's good enough to be playing to the level that Man United should be, and get someone, I don't know, from the Premier League or outside, we would have never had these issues. The issue is we keep these players for so long that we diminish their value, and you end up. Elanga as an example. Me and KJ spoke about him for a while. I always joke about it and I say he's KJ's son because he loves him so much. I feel like I maybe a little bit over disrespected Elanga. Elanga got sold for 15 million after playing a Champions League campaign for us, and he was a Swedish international. He should have never went for 15 million. But the reason he went for that money is because we held on to him for so long. The club was so shit. Everyone smelled desperation for us to sell players. And we ended up selling him to Forest, where he's performing very well right now, but for such a low fee. He probably should have went for about 20 to 30 million. But that's the issue that we have. If we want to spend and we want to generate money and to bring it back to where we are right now, because we're in 2025, we're in January, we need money and we need to rebuild a team. You need to rely on selling a lot of academy products. It does help you. Nothing helps you more in sales than selling academy products because it helps you with PSR and it helps you spending power. You could sell a player for 30 million, and because of PSR, you're allowed to spend about double of that because of how much it counts on the balance sheets. So we need to get rid of a lot of these players. I don't want to sell Menu. I think Menu is very good, and I don't like this notion that he won't be able to play in a 3-5-2 or sorry a 3-4-3 I don't think it's the best formation for him. If you ask me on a tactical level, I don't think it is the best for him. But
It's
he's
not,
very
by the way.
young.
100% It's not.
He's very young though, and he's very talented. That at this age and with the skill set that he has, you could mold him into anything that you.
I
Really
might
want.
make it a bit too black and white, but I think Mainu need to be molded either into a 6 or a 10. You either
I
need
mean,
to
those are
like
the
try
only two midfield positions we have.
Yeah, that's what I'm
What-
saying. Like, but with the 6, I think you're gonna ask him to do a lot of athletic work and defensive work. So that one is a bit more difficult. But mold him into a 10, it's possible because there's one reason. There's different types of 10s we have watched on the planet. There are also goal scoring 10s. Now, someone watching this might say, Hussam, you're crazy. But Mainu has scored very important and big goals for Man United before, which shows he has an eye for goal, which shows
Your mic disconnected.
Your mic didn't agree with him, bro, because he's waffling.
Your mic.
Your mic cut out, Sam.
It just cut
Someone
out.
can
my
hear
mic
you,
cut out.
Abu.
Okay, I'm saying,
Can hear you.
okay, no problem. I'll increase my volume so you can hear me better now. Hold that, mate.
It wasn't the
When it
volume.
comes when it comes to Mainu, I'm saying obviously Staffy agreed with the first part I said. I think I cut out after that because of the whole 6 and 10 thing. I think it's gonna be difficult to mold him into a 6. The reason why it's gonna be difficult to mold him into a 6 is because he's gonna have to be a lot more athletic and do a lot of defensive work. But I think you can mold him into a 10 because he's shown an eye for goal. He scored a lot of important goals for Man United, and he could be like the next Foden, the next Musiala, like a goal scoring 10 essentially.
What does McAllister have over Mainu, Hussam, for you? McAllister is 26, Kobe Mainu is 19. They kind of
Yes.
look similar. Ball retention, passing the ball. I think Kobe Mainu would be a perfect 8 in a midfield 3. Like a
Oh, yeah.
McAllister.
How am I waffling if we're talking about midfield 2? you
Literally
fraud?
say 10 or
We're
6.
talking about
whatever
midfield
we're
2.
talking about.
صح, صح. Midfield 2.
He's
He's
gonna
talking
do
about
that.
what we have right now, Mo. I agree with
He's
you.
gonna
I
be
think
next to
Mainu is better.
Ugarte. I think next to Ugarte it will work. Next to
Yeah.
Ugarte.
I mean,
and-
says I'm
and-
waffling, and then
but
he
this
says
is-
next
but
to
this is-
Ugarte, which is
this
my
is
exact
also-
point.
But this is also
She's
why,
an
though.
8, not a 6 or a 10.
And
Why are
guys,
you
and guys,
waffling,
and
bro?
guys, we can argue about this
You're
forever.
really
But,
waffle.
but this we can argue about this forever. But this is also
Why
why
are you
it's a
so
good,
angry?
guys. But this is why it's also a
He
good.
waffles a lot, bro. He waffles a lot, and then
He
said,
literally agreed, Mo. What's
he
wrong with you?
literally said, he
Staffy,
literally said,
Staffy. Okay, one
"يا
second.
أخي, let me
Staffy's the
talk to
United
you
fan.
for a while, يا أخي. Let me
Staffy,
talk-
what
I am-
position do Man
I
United
am
have in their
in, يا
midfield?
أخي.
What
I'm in,
position?
yeah.
It's either 6 or 10.
6 and a 10. صح?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're Mainu, would you put him as a 6 or a 10?
يا أخي, he can
With
play next
Ugarte,
to
I
Ugarte.
can't put him in the
Yeah.
6. I think they both lack.
No,
Yeah,
I
so
think
you put him in the 10.
Ugarte defense for
agree.
him. Bruno Fernandes ahead of him with Amad Diallo. I think it works. Other
Mo,
way
no, no,
around,
he
it doesn't
doesn't
work.
have. Mo, hold on. He doesn't have the height and the legs to cover in that midfield. Him and
Yeah,
Ugarte.
More than Bruno.
And that's one of the
More
big
than Bruno.
things that I spoke. And Terry will vouch on this because I said it in January when we were linked with Ugarte. I mean, to be fair, we didn't play a midfield 2 by then. But remember, Terry, I told you I worry about the size that we have in the midfield or in the team in general. I felt like one of the things we struggled with against Liverpool was the lack of legs. When you look at someone like Gravenberch is a gazelle next to him. He was just running that midfield a lot. The amount of yards you have to cover in that role, and you have 2 midfielders that are under 6 feet. I don't think it helps. And to be fair, Mainu looks a little bit heavier than last season, anyways. Like he
Yeah,
bulked up
look,
compared to last year.
Yeah,
And I just feel there's a lack of agility and flexibility in midfield.
I understand where you're coming from with that, but that's also why we go back to the points everyone's making. There's a lot of Maradons in the comments. Or he doesn't suit a double pivot. So the same people laughing that he's not untouchable are also saying he doesn't suit the way the club is developing the squad. So therefore, why would he not be? Why would he be? Therefore, why would he be untouchable? And this is the thing that United fans have got to wake up and realize: the club has decided to go down a certain path. The only time this path is wrong is if after Amorim we go in a completely new direction. We don't know if we're going to do that until it happens. So there's no point stressing any energy. But if we have players, it shouldn't matter who they are. If they're not suited to how we play, they shouldn't be untouchable. It's a simple, and the irony is, if those all players everyone wants to stay leave and we become a better team and win the Prem, no one's going to give a shit. No one will care. No one will care one jot. So the principle of the matter isn't the problem. It's the results that come after it. So that's what people should focus on. We're going to go to